Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. We record these interviews so potential buyers have more information about the seller and the business to help them make a buying decision. Now, before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of this business. It's an Amazon FBA business created in March of 2021 in the sports and health and fitness niches. The average monthly revenue for the business is $47,476 and it makes an average of $11,126 per month in net profit. The assets included in the sale are an Amazon Seller Central account with 3 SKUs, a domain including all site content and files, supplier relationships, trademark, Walmart account, and just as a disclaimer, inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to unlockers. So for everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 65584 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So that's a brief overview of the business for sale. Let's hear from the seller with me today. So welcome to the show, Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well, and I'm looking forward to learning more about you and your business. So to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, so I have been in the Amazon space early 2017 and have quite a few different businesses or brands that I've built on Amazon. And this is one of the additional brands that I've just brought to Amazon in March of last year, or 2 years ago now, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, so this business is somewhat unique in the sense of how quickly it has grown. It's a very young business. So why are you deciding to sell it instead of keeping it and growing it?
This business is in a rapidly growing niche, and it is ripe for somebody to come in with a good amount of capital to grow the business. We've basically set the baseline. We have obviously great income, great net revenues. But, on Amazon, the businesses are, when they're capital intensive like this, there's only so much money that, we have to be able to continue to grow it. And so I think there's opportunity for somebody to come in with a little more capital and turn this into a, 3, 4, or 5 times what the business is today in a very short period of time.
Yeah. And that's always a great position to be in when a business is booming and the only limitation to its growth is just having the capital to invest into purchasing more inventory.
Definitely.
Okay. So during the time that you've been running this business, what did you learn from building it that worked? Or what do you think contributed to the unique success of this business?
I think a couple things related to just definitely making sure that we had a quality product out there. We knew what type of product, like what type of package of, how many units we'd have included in one particular offering to the customer. But we wanted to make sure that the actual product itself was of high quality. We don't want to bring something to market that's not going to be a satisfactory unit for a customer. So we worked with multiple different manufacturers to confirm that we had the best of the best. And then having a very appealing packaging, name, and offering for the customer is paramount. And so we worked through that in the beginning and found the perfect fit for our company, and we've had success because of it.
That's awesome. That sounds a lot easier than in reality it is. So congratulations on doing
It
that.
absolutely is a lot more difficult, but I think it's the only way to be really successful in this business is to make sure you're giving a very quality product to your customer.
Yes, especially now, I think on both sides, the customer is just more aware, or they're able to distinguish between high quality and low quality on Amazon, and Amazon is trying to enforce high quality products. So I think on both sides, it makes sense to build a brand based on those tenets.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So was there anything you tried with this business that didn't work out as well?
We tried to kind of get into a little subsector, a sub niche of what the main product is. and we had some success, but there was some costs associated with it that just didn't make sense the way that we packaged it. The Amazon FBA fees were too high. And so we had good success with it. It just wasn't a profitable product because of the packaging issue we had. And we decided just to stick with our bread and butter as it was growing. A new buyer could easily step in. That listing already has, I think, like 55-star reviews. It's just not something we continued with. So that's just an easy home run for somebody to jump in and get the packaging correct so that the fees that Amazon charges for that make it profitable. We just didn't stick with that. We just stayed with what knew we were doing very well, which is the SKUs that we're talking about selling today.
Yeah. So that's cool that you brought that up because I think it's very tempting to continue with a product that is so socially validated with 55-star reviews that you can think that it's worth continuing with. But was it something like you had a hard set line for your profit margins and it just wasn't hitting that given Amazon fees, and that helped your decision to discontinue that product for you?
Yep. So I try to operate with specific margins anytime I bring a product to market. And because of that issue that happened, I was worried about investing. And if it didn't come out the right way again, I knew that it probably would, but just we didn't want to try to look at another shiny object to one side when we had a very perfect object right in front of us. So I didn't want to get distracted with trying to build up a different listing when all I had to do was continue to create good ads and different things related to this existing product. So there is definitely a roadmap to make sure that the other one that we're talking about, a potential buyer, I can talk to them about that and they can easily have a home run on that one. It's just we stuck with what we knew was working and has continued to show amazing growth, as you can see with the profit and loss of the business. So we just decided to stick with that one.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. Did you want to talk a little bit about how traffic is generated with this business? I know the most common answer that I get is a combination of Amazon organic and Amazon PPC. Did this business drive traffic or generate revenue from other sources?
So we do have a listing for the product on Walmart. We haven't really done much. It just didn't seem like there was many people offering this particular product or a variation of what we offer on this product on Walmart. So we've done some sales on Walmart, which is included with the business itself. On Amazon, we strictly do, we get obviously the organic sales, and then we have our PPC placements that we have. So nothing has been generated on off traffic that we've personally attempted to do. I'm sure there's been maybe an article or two written about the business that has linked into Amazon. We do have a video listing that we do for the product. And so those are the only traffic sources: Walmart, organic sales, and then PPC sales.
Okay. Well, it sounds like there's a growth opportunity there for somebody who wants to consider that pathway with Walmart. Can you tell me then the amount and the type of work that you do on this business for maintenance? I know we're still kind of potentially in still a growth phase, but you're also selling the business, so you might be in a maintenance phase.
Yep. So I definitely look at the PPC campaigns, but we have had, I don't know if it's just because we had such good conversions and we still do have such good conversions. We haven't had to add a ton of campaigns on the PPC front. So just making sure on a weekly basis that there's no outliers where for some reason something's not converting or costing us too much money. So I do check the PPC campaigns, look at the stock levels and new orders that need to be placed, make sure that we just have that planning in place. And then we'll definitely look at the competition and if anybody has any sort of new offerings or anything. But normally on a business this young, it would be on that keep expanding and be really kind of hands on the business. We haven't had to be that, actually. It's been really kind of passive once we got it going in the beginning. It's just kind of continue to roll on its own.
Nice. So it sounds like you definitely have an early stage, very passive business if somebody wants to just acquire this and just keep the operations rolling. Now, if you did want to grow the business, I think you've already answered this in probably the first question. If you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
I think there's 3 ways that I would grow the business. First one would be, I think this is an amazing brick and mortar opportunity. So this one is essentially a beginner version of product. There is not a lot of beginner versions that I've seen out in the market. And I think this would be a huge and easy brick and mortar opportunity to get into. So that's one piece of it. The other one is different variations of either color or styles of the product, because you already have that base listing. This could be added with variations where you don't have any launch costs or anything new related to that. It would just be adding that to an already 5-star listing. So some variations if it's in the beginner, different colors or different styles, and then an advanced set. So again, capital contribution is one of the limiting factors on that. But if somebody can come in with some capital, it's very simple, I think, right now, especially with the name recognition we have, to launch a advanced kind of, like a pro set or advanced set of the existing product that we're talking about. And it would be very simple to do that. So those are the three different, I think, growth opportunities that are there. Otherwise, obviously, you can just kind of take it as a passive business. But I definitely think there's huge opportunity and a very simple opportunity.
Yeah. And what I like about those opportunities too is that, as you mentioned, there are no additional launch costs for much of what you described, but you can leverage the pre-existing listing and the organic traffic and the customer ratings. So just the legitimacy of the value of the product. Yeah. Use that to launch new products. So it seems like it's relatively low risk, but talking about risk, there's always risk involved with any business model. So what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
I don't think there's a lot of risk in regards to the product and competition, because I think we kind of, the way everything looks of our product, we're pretty unique and nobody can copy that. I think the one big risk that's associated with any business on Amazon, so not necessarily ours in particular, is the overall competition for ad spend. Amazon's increasing the amount of different placements there on Amazon for, placing a sponsored ad somewhere. So that's the one area that's just kind of an unknown. And I don't think you would necessarily call it a risk. You have to be aware of it and make sure that you're putting yourself in front of customers in every possible way. So just kind of being aware that there are more ad spaces being added all the time and making sure that you're targeting those ad spaces to capture conversions and not letting a competitor do that instead of you.
That sounds like a risk that exists really for any Amazon business, I guess, to a certain extent, just any business that has high competition or potential competition.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a few housekeeping questions to wrap this up. How much support are you willing to offer a buyer who acquires this business?
90 days of email and phone support.
Okay, great. And just confirming that you commit to a non-compete on this business after acquired?
Yes.
Perfect. And are you open to something like an earnout?
Definitely open to the possibility of that. It would definitely require somebody to be experienced in the Amazon business and somebody who kind of has a growth plan that would make sense for that, but absolutely open to it.
Okay. As if you're listening to this, sounds like this is just something to discuss with Chris directly, if that is also something you'd like to consider. So, last two questions. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think when the buyer, does an unlock of the business and sees what the actual business is, they will know that this is a rapidly growing niche and it's a huge opportunity. And for a buyer who's coming in that may have some good capital, I think it's a very easily expandable business that can get you a return on your investment quickly. It's just, obviously adding more products increases the capital intensity of the business. And I think somebody who is in that position can really take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see it and agreed. Once you unlock the business, you'll probably understand why Chris is saying that. Well, is there anything you'd like to add that you think I might have missed during the interview, Chris?
Nothing that you missed necessarily. Just one thing I wanted to clarify for anybody that did do the unlock and looks at the earnings. There was a little decrease in the earnings in November of this year and December. And the reason being is we had brought in so much inventory at Amazon. We had great sales, higher sales than the previous 12 months, but we had the Q4 Amazon storage fees that really ate up a significant portion of the profit, which has been mentioned, but there's definitely an excess spend on the storage fees. So in the future, for any buyer, I would definitely suggest trickling in inventory versus sending it all to Amazon so that you can lower that cost of storage during the fourth quarter.
Got it. From like a 3PL or something and sending that in as needed. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if anybody's listening to this, you can discuss that specific strategy, cost reduction strategy with Chris. But I think on that note, that's the perfect place to wrap this up. So, Chris, thanks so much for sharing your story and joining us on today's episode. And yeah, I hope your business is purchased in the near future and by the right buyer.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 65584. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. And once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.